Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2019 general readings. This will be covering the first half of March from around the 1st through the 15th. Thank you to everyone for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers. Thank you for all your likes, shares, and subscribes for those of you who take the time to send in all your support, comments, and feedback. And for those of you who are returning subscribers and those of you who follow my YouTube channel regularly, thank you. And of course to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. And as most of you who follow me know, if you're interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description bar attached to this video. Or the description bar attached to any of my videos. You can also go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings in all of the main areas of life, love and romance, of course, compatibility charts, reconciliation potential, career, work and finance, investment readings. And I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life for the next 6 or 12 months in all the main areas, depending on how far ahead you'd like. And I also offer gift readings, so there's a variety of things to choose from. If you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. I can usually get back to you with your initial response within the same day or the first 24 hours with more info. And personal readings, the scheduling is pretty good. The turnaround time is pretty decent too, because I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So I work pretty diligently with people's schedules to get them readings as quickly as possible. All right, let's move right into this reading. This is for the first half of March 2019. This is for the fire sign of Leo, our lovely lions. Watch your rising and moon sign videos as well if you know them for additional clarification. General readings, as you know, can always resonate a little differently. All right, Leo, let's see what's in store for you for the first half of March. So we begin with the 5 of Swords, followed by the Empress. We have the Knight of Cups, followed by the 6 of Swords. And from the bottom of the deck, representing overall energy for the first half of March, we have the 8 of Swords. I typically draw cards for the entire month, but because I also do mid-month readings to look at specifically the last half of the month, I really feel like looking at it for a 2-week period of time makes it a bit more definitive and a bit more precise. So I'm going to focus just on the first half of March here. So it's interesting, Leo, because your overall energy, it looks like you feel trapped of some kind, or that you're powerless perhaps to remove yourself from a situation or make a choice to leave something behind or to see it as it really is. But it's somewhat illusionary energy, because Swords is air energy, which speaks of what goes on up in our heads. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about what we believe, what our belief system is, what our ideology is, our perceptions, perspectives, because that directly affects the way that we see the world, that we see people in the world and ourselves in that world, and how we communicate as well. So this is a card that represents your mind being your own worst enemy. The only thing that's actually keeping this woman held hostage here is actually just the idea or the belief that she is, because she's not really trapped. Nobody is holding her down on her knees. The gaps between the swords are plenty wide enough for her to free herself from them, to walk through them. The chains which are wrapped around her wrists aren't connected to anything or anyone. If she just twisted her wrists, she could remove the blindfold, stand up on her own 2 feet, look around and see the reality of the situation, that she can make the choice to free herself from whatever it is, or that she's not trapped by the situation that she finds herself in, or he. It's her lack of sight, actually, because she's blindfolded, which represents a reluctance or resistance to seeing a situation for what it really is, and therefore be able to either change her environment, see whatever it is that feels like it's keeping her trapped there, illusionary, so that if she makes the decision to stay, it's not from a sense of feeling trapped, or she can remove herself from it. but it's not seeing the situation in reality or totality because she's got it in her head that she's trapped somehow, which is interesting because for the first half of March, it looks like for many Leos, there is some kind of victory coming in that represents the opportunity to have a new beginning, to start something new, to plant the seeds for something new, and a very emotional offer, perhaps a love offer coming in that promises healing. So it's interesting that you have this sense of perhaps feeling trapped or feeling like you either can't take this offer because you're not looking at it realistically, or you have to accept this offer because you're not looking realistically at it. This Five of Swords and the Empress represent a victory that's coming in. It's a card one victory. It represents getting to a place where you have triumphed over something, but it has cost a lot. You can see that this man has just finished a battle, a challenge of some kind, and he's victorious. His opponents or foes or whatever the challenge represents are defeated on the ground behind him. He's gathered up all their swords, their ability to hurt him, and he's holding his own aloft in victory. But the colors are still particularly murky and a bit grim. He looks tired, worn out, exhausted. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This victory has cost a lot. And sometimes the people that are on the ground behind him can represent that this is a victory which may have come at a high cost, and part of that cost may have been a relationship or other people in your life. I think for some of you, I think for a lot of you, this has to do with a significant relationship. It could be a love romance relationship or a situation of another kind. For some of you, it may involve finances or job of some kind. I feel like one of the reasons you might be feeling trapped is because even though this Five of Swords has allowed you to have a new opportunity for fertility, that the time is right to plant seeds to manifest something new, it's also a card of nurturing and self-care. It can represent literal fertility for some of you. Some of you may be finding out that you're pregnant after having tried for a long time. But in love and romance, this can represent that you have maybe stuck in there for quite a while with a relationship that has been rocky, or maybe you've had some breakups, or it's gone through a difficult period, and that simply because you have stuck it out and put a lot of energy into it, there is this opportunity for a new beginning. Some of you, in order to have this new beginning or to move forward again in this relationship, because I feel for a lot of you, this is a relationship that, I mean, it has some history in it. This isn't like a recently developed relationship. It's something that you've fought quite hard for and invested quite a lot in. I feel like in moving forward, if you decide to take this new opportunity, plant the seeds to have something new or move forward again with this person, I feel like some of you may have to separate yourself, or another person or other people may separate themselves from you, and that may be part of the cost of moving forward in this relationship. For some of you, it might be, friends or family that maybe have gotten to the point, especially if they've seen that you've had difficulties within this relationship, of saying, I have to set a boundary, or I don't want to be part of this moving forward, or we just don't approve or think that it's good for you, etc. Because I'm feeling like if you do move forward in this relationship, starting a new beginning, that there are some people who are not, that you're going to have to leave behind because of this. And it might be for the other person as well, but I feel it's primarily for you. And that may have you feeling trapped in some way. It's kind of like, okay, if I stay with this person because he's promised this new beginning, or she's promised this new beginning, or I have a new opportunity to move forward in a different way, a better way, then I more or less estrange myself, or I have other people that I'm not going to have much contact with because they don't approve of the path I'm taking. I feel that for some of you. It might be, if this is a job, work, or career path situation, again, in order to, it looks like you may have worked really hard to have this opportunity to start in a new place, or to have maybe a new position or a promotion or a new job, but you're going to have to leave people behind, or it's going to mean that you had to triumph over other people who are also wanting the same things, and some people may be very bent out of shape because of that. It could be that as well. And again, that definitely could be, and probably is, one of the reasons why you feel trapped. Like, what do I do? If I stay, it's this, and if I don't stay, it's that. Now, around the second week to the middle of the month, we have the Knight of Cups and the Six of Swords. So Knights usually represent offers or opportunities coming in from an external source or person, or that you're projecting outwards. Cups is emotional energy. It's water energy. That's the element which governs the suit of cups. And so this is, for some of you, an offer of love, an offer of some emotional support and encouragement. Knights are typically very fast moving. The Knight of Cups is very much a dreamer. He's an idealist. He's in love with love itself, the kind of idea of it. The only cautionary advice with the Knight of Cups, if this represents the actual person, perhaps in, the love or romance area of your life, if the Knight of Cups represents an actual person, just be aware that the one challenge that sometimes is present with the Knight of Cups is that he may promise everything in the heat of the moment because that's what he feels, but he may not be able to follow through completely. So just be aware and kind of keep that in mind with the energy of the Knight of Cups, because, his horse is rearing up. He's presenting, his cup of love, of this emotional support, and he's charging kind of in offering this, or she, or perhaps for some of you, it's you presenting this offer. So it's always with the Knight of Cups to be a bit cautious that this person is in fact able to, follow through with what they are promising or offering, or that you are, and that it's not just kind of the heat of the moment, or because of, other circumstances. Perhaps you left this person, or you delivered an ultimatum, and they really don't want to lose you, and so they're just kind of charging in. I think that they're sincere in what they're offering, but again, it's following through in the long run. So just be kind of cautious and aware of that. I wouldn't just wholeheartedly throw yourself in. Maybe you could even have a trial period and see how it goes, or something of that sort, because I'm getting this caution about not saying no exactly, but being realistic about it. That Knight of Cups is clarified by the Six of Swords, which is a card of peace, of healing, of restoration as well. It's a card that represents moving away from a difficult time. The waters behind her would be very choppy and turbulent and wavy, but she's sailing away from that. She's moving into a place that's more peaceful, calm, serene. Now, it's a card of movement. It's transitional, which means that you're leaving the worst behind you. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you are moving towards that, which is why it's a card that has a strong healing energy to it. Some of you may be even getting away or traveling for this as well. You may have had an offer to get away for a time with this person for purposes of working some stuff out in healing and reconciliation or resolution energy as well. Again, it's transitional energy. The worst, you are leaving the worst behind you, but you aren't to the other shore yet. And because it clarifies the Knight of Cups, again, I'm not feeling yes or no, but I'm feeling that to move forward with caution and with your eyes open, and just kind of take it step by step. It's what I'm getting. So it's an interesting kind of reading. Because this Eight of Swords I never really like seeing, because it represents feeling trapped when in fact you're not. It's just this idea in your head that you either have to do one thing or you have to do the other thing, which in my opinion is not a free choice. Choices made when you're trapped, when you're in a position of fear, are not honest choices. So keep that in mind too, that if you feel trapped in whatever this is and trying to make up your mind about this, you are not. So let's pull a clarifier for this Eight of Swords, this kind of stressed out, trapped, consumed with your own thoughts, perhaps, and fears about what you can or can't do. Let's see what this is about. The Seven of Pentacles, it makes sense. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection and assessment on where your life is. It's taking stock of what you have in your life, comparing the efforts you've put into getting where you're at, either in this relationship or in this job or career path situation. and asking yourself, is it possible for you to transition from a 7 to a 10? A 10 represents full completion, coming full circle. It's a good harvest. It's a 7. You've put a lot of work into getting this. Do you want to go to the 10? Are you happy with things the way they are? If you stay in this situation, this relationship, this job, etc., can you be happy doing that? It's a card of reflection, contemplation, and assessing where you're at and what your motives are. Is it possible for you to take this current situation and make it a 10? Is that possible? If so, what needs to happen? What changes need to be made? If it's not possible, are you happy with it? Or if you want something that's going to turn into a 10, or that you can work towards together, evolving it into a 10, do you make the decision to leave this behind? So it's a card of reflection and assessment. And it's also a card of reflection and assessment in a practical way. Is this a practical thing? Making a decision or looking at something and looking at the reality of the situation. Okay, I'm being promised this or offered the opportunity to do this. Is it realistic? Is there any kind of evidence or facts to base it up? Because Pentacles is earth energy, so it's practical energy, and it can represent finances, money, resources, assets too. It's a very grounded sort of energy, so it's about asking yourself, is this really realistic for me to move forward with? Now, because this looks a bit more challenging than some readings, I'm going to pull a final advice card. We'll see what is the advice that Spirit is giving. What are God, Spirit, your angels, and guides saying is the best thing to do moving forward in this? The Knight of Pentacles is advice from Spirit. So here's another Knight here, which would be a strong implication that, at least for many of you, the advice is to proceed forward. However, knowing that, this is the Knight of Pentacles, so this is earth energy. He is not the fastest of all 4 of the Knights. All 4 of the Knights are known for being rather fast moving because they're Knights. They're spontaneous, impulsive, missions quest, charge ahead and achieve the mission, bring back the results. But out of all 4 of the Knights, the Knight of Pentacles is governed by the element of earth, so he's slower than his other 3 brother Knights. He will cover all the bases. He's not going to take any shortcuts or charge too fast ahead because he might miss something along the way or forget to cover something that needs to be covered. He will see the job done from beginning to end, step by step. He's not as fast as the others. And it's also very grounded, practical energy, which is what I was feeling kind of throughout this whole reading, Leo, that I think for the majority of you, and I mean majority because if you're in a truly unhealthy, toxic situation, or this is somebody who hurt you or abused you in the past, of course you need to do what's best for you, including just walking away from anything truly toxic or harmful from you. You don't need to stay in relationships like that. But for the majority of you, it looks like Spirit is saying to proceed forward. But don't be like the Knight of Wands in this situation. Be like the Knight of Pentacles. Manifest this energy. Move forward, but make sure it's step by step. Make sure things make sense. Don't go charging ahead, especially if you have no evidence. Take it step by step, particularly if this is a relationship that you've had issues with in the past, or a job or people you've had issues with in the past. Perhaps if they haven't, treated you all that well, or with a sense of honor and integrity, make sure that you don't go charging ahead a whole bunch of steps without waiting to see if they are also taking each one of these steps with you. So be kind of grounded and practical about this. Proceed with caution, eyes open. So that's what I'm getting for final advice from Spirit for the first half of March 2019. So Leo, that pretty much wraps up your reading for the first half of March. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the March mid-month reading, so we can look at the last half and see what it looks like there for the majority of you. Thank you for watching. I hope that you found it helpful and useful. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you and schedule a reading with you as soon as we can. You can get the info and contact details by clicking on the description bar below, or the description bar on attached to any of the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button there. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. And that's good for quick answers to the quick, easy questions. There's a variety of options there as well, but if it's a complex situation or more traditional reading, just contact me and we'll set something up for you. So I'll see you all in a couple of weeks for the March 2019 mid-month readings, Leo. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.